Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video, I'm going to share some amazing information about a much loved plant that has been used medicinally and for food for thousands of years, and that is fennel. Now, for many people, fennel is something that just shows up in our food. The seeds, the bulb, the whole part of the plant is edible. But for many people, it's also been used medicinally. And this is something that I have come to cherish. It's in a couple of our products, but there are so many amazing health benefits to this, plus a really beautiful, long, rich history of human beings using this, not just for food, but for medicine. So the information that I share with you is not meant to be medical advice. This is just meant to entertain and educate you. As always, please do your own due diligence when it comes to adding herbs and different things into your nutrition that are going to affect you in any way. We're all different. We live in modern times. There's different toxic things coming at us. And I think one of the most important layers is that there are medications that many people are on that might interact with some of these powerful medicinal herbals. So personally, I've seen many, many people over the years really do their best to get off of prescription medications and transfer them over to herbs that do the same thing. And a lot of times that's done with guidance with a functional medicine doctor or a master herbalist, or someone can take your unique situation and help you replace some of these prescription meds that you'd like to get off and flow that on to natural, powerful herbal medicine. What I love about where we are right now as a human species is that we are coming full circle. We are from the earth. We are connected to the magic of Mother Nature, all of her plants, all of her wisdom, and this is coming back. And this makes me so excited to be alive during these times. So fennel, this is something, like I said, many people love it because it's got this mild licorice taste to it. And if you are not a lover of licorice, this might be something you still love because it is mild, it's natural, it flavors many foods. The thing I've mostly used fennel for is the medicinal properties. And one of my favorite ways is to make a tea. So I'm going to go into that in a little bit. So this is what I found about fennel. So it originates in Southern Europe, North Africa, and Western Asia, but it's now actually naturalized almost all around the world. And I've never tried to grow fennel, but I think that this spring, I'm going to try to grow some fennel. Now, I do have a few places that I love to buy my fennel in bulk. My favorite way to do it, and this is the seeds. This is where the majority of the medicinal properties is in the seeds. But I'll put a link below to a couple of my favorite places where I get organic fennel seeds in bulk. And my favorite way, like I said, is by the pound. Now, you can certainly get it in 4 ounces or 8 ounces. But if I'm going to be spending money on herbs, the ones that I'm going to be using in particular, especially for a tea, because you put a tablespoon of fennel seeds, steep it in some boiling water, and you've got the most perfect cup of tea. You don't need any sweetener. It's mild. It's got that slight licorice taste. And it is absolutely delicious, and it's good for so many things. So I'm going to go over this list of health benefits that I have been doing research on, but also what I've come to love about it from my own personal use. So besides the products that we have it in, it's in our smooth cleanse, which is good for detoxing and doing a colon cleanse. There are some definite instructions with that. So make sure you pay attention if you're going to do a colon cleanse, that your body is not currently constipated. That's not a good time. You want to get yourself where you're fairly regular, then do a colon cleanse. That's probably my best advice about that. And then follow the instructions. And this isn't something you should be on a regular basis. This is something to do maybe every 3 months or every 6 months or even once a year. That's what I personally do. I will go through a bottle of our smooth cleanse. I'll be very strategic about the food that I'm eating leading up to it, and then just follow this beautiful protocol. And it's just a really nice way to keep the plumbing working very perfectly, which is not only important as we age, but it's super important just because we're a human being, and what goes in must digest, give us nutrients, and then must come out, right? Because that can be a problem if it doesn't. And also, because it's got such great properties for viruses, bacteria, it's great for respiratory health. Fennel seed is an ingredient in our throat spray. And the throat spray is extremely popular. People love it. Singers on Broadway use it. It is just a magical blend of about 14 different herbs. It's an organic vegetable glycerin, super yummy. Kids love it. It's amazing. So here are my favorite list of health benefits of fennel seed. One of my favorites is digestive support. So it helps relieve bloating, gas, and indigestion. And if you're a nursing mom, drinking fennel tea is really good if you have a colicky baby. And this is something that me and my sisters have known about when we were all raising our kids, giving birth. And this is a really beautiful thing to have in your arsenal if you're a nursing mom. You don't want to give the baby the tea. You want to drink the tea, and the benefits will come through your breast milk, and it will soothe the colicky baby, which adding fennel tea as a new nursing mom is really, really good because it also helps with, like I said, digestion, cramping, bloating. It's wonderful for stimulating bile and in the liver and helping it go through the gallbladder and helping really, really strongly and beautifully and naturally improve digestion. This is probably the number one thing that humans have been using it for over these thousands of years. It's also a mild antispasmodic. Okay, so it does help with cramping. So think about young girls or women that have cramping, but it's also good to sip on this tea if you're a woman going through menopause and the different things that we experience. I use this extensively, and I actually am going to add fennel tea back into my routine. This was a really deep reminder that I used it for a long time, and it kind of fell off of my radar as far as sipping on it as a tea. But this is something really, really amazing if you're going through menopause because of its antispasmodic. And I know women that it's helped even with hot flashes and things like that. So there's just so many benefits. And it also stimulates digestive enzymes, which are super important for making sure that your food can properly digest. The enzymes are so necessary. Hormonal in women's health, I kind of covered that. Anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits. I mean, think about that. Antioxidant, anti-aging, helps clear up free radicals. Anti-inflammatory, everywhere in our body at different times, there can be a little inflammation from just different things, the toxins, the stressors, the foods we eat, all the things that we have going on as a modern human. This is a powerful tool to have like I said, fennel seed tea is one of the best things you can add into your diet. And what I would say, if you're new to this, start with a cup in the morning, and then maybe even sip on a cup of fennel tea in the evening after you have a meal. And it's delicious. It's mild. This is something I wouldn't even add sweetener to because it is so, so delicious. It's aromatic. It has a natural sweetness to it, but it's very mild. And I would say try it first without any sweeteners, especially artificial. Stay away from those completely. But even honey, even sugar or organic sugar, if you need to add a teeny bit of sweetener, consider adding a tiny bit of stevia, which is stevia is a plant. It's nature's sugar, and that's a nice way if you like to sweeten up your tea a little bit. Very rich in flavonoids and vitamin C, and especially the bulb. Cooking with fennel, the bulb and the stalks of it, super, super delicious. So many yummy things you can make with fennel. And this is, again, you either love fennel or you hate fennel if you don't like that licorice taste. So I'm a person who's not a big fan of like black licorice, like the candy. But when it comes to natural, like licorice root, the bulb of a fennel, I love it. It's very different when it comes from Mother Nature. Respiratory support. It's been historically used as an expectorant. So help with lung health, mucus, and just keeping your lungs healthy. And it also can help soothe a cough, which is another reason it's in our delicious throat spray. And then what I put here on the last part I'm going to share with you as far as health is oral health. This is something that reminds me a little bit of chewing on a clove, like a whole clove. Fennel seeds are great to put like a little half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, roll them around in your mouth, kind of suck on them, chew on them. You can swallow them if you want to. I typically never do, but I let them get soft. I kind of chew on them. And it's really good for bad bacteria in your mouth and just really good for oral health. And then you're going to be swallowing some of the juices that come from it. And then you're going to be getting all those digestive benefits, all of the benefits that it does for your your entire system. Seeds chewed as a natural breath freshener. So this is something that will naturally freshen your breath, because if you think about it, if you don't have clean smelling breath, it's not just in your mouth that might be the problem. It's typically in your stomach as well. And this is what fennel seeds will go in and do when you chew on them, is that will actually make a big difference in the bacteria in your stomach and helping with overall digestion, which I really love. Okay, so the different parts of the plants that we use are the seeds, which is the most medicinal part, used in tinctures and teas and even essential oils. If you get an essential oil of fennel, which is lovely, this becomes very, very strong and concentrated. So make sure that you do your due diligence when you're using fennel in an essential oil, because it probably needs a carrier oil and you need to use it fairly sparingly. And then the seeds are also used in, it's a common spice in Indian cuisine, Middle Eastern cuisine, and Mediterranean cuisine. And if you're familiar with those cuisines, you know that that's a very common piece of it. And they might just be sprinkled here and there. It's a delicious, really distinct flavor that comes with these different dishes. Now, the bulb is eaten as a vegetable, raw, roasted, or grilled. Eaten and consumed all three. I love all three. The texture is crunchy and it's got that mild anise flavor. So the mild licorice flavor, absolutely delicious. It's also high in fiber and vitamin C, which is really good. Now, the fronds, which are the feathery leaves, is used as an herb just like dill. And it's also used as a garnish for fish and salads and soups. And you've probably consumed them, maybe not realizing you were consuming the feathery fronds of a fennel. But if you recognize the flavor, you're used to cooking it yourself, you probably are familiar with that. Flowers and the pollen is also prized in Italian cooking. So not just the other, so the whole part of the plant is literally used. I don't know too many people who use the roots. The root systems don't go super deep on a fennel plant, but I believe everything up, I'm sure you could probably wash the roots and cook them up and grill them up just as well as the bulb as well. And then the essential oil, extracted mainly from the seeds and used in aromatherapy and herbal preparations. Now, here's some beautiful, quirky things. This is one of my favorite parts of any herb that I research, is I love hearing and finding different things that human beings have been using these plants, especially medicinally, or some of the quirky, cool things that they've used these for over the centuries. And especially something like fennel, which there is thousands of years of proof. And the cool thing is, this is one of those plants that has been studied by our modern scientists, and it is so well researched and so well studied. It's consumed by humans on a regular basis for food. So of course these things are studied, and of course the science doesn't lie. Modern medicine is finally catching up what thousands of years humans have been doing with plants, plant medicine, herbs, and all the fun stuff. We're finally catching up. And it seems like it's kind of a full circle time to be alive in human history, which to me, this is the most exciting time ever to be here, because there's so many things changing and there's so many opportunities, not just in all the arenas, but in the arena of taking care of our health and opting out of the pharmaceutical industry. Like, this is an empowering time to be here. We have access to information, and this is where our discernment needs to come in, right? We have to be very, very discerning, tune into our intuition, do deep research, collaborate with other people, really, really dive deep into some of these things that interest you. So here's some really cool facts and things I found out about fennel. So fennel has an impressively long history. In ancient Egypt, more than 3,000 years ago, it was used medicinally. In ancient Greece, it was associated with strength and longevity. In ancient Rome, it was used for digestion and culinary flavor, of course. And in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, digestion and respiratory issues. This is documented, it's well documented, and it's really fun to research. This is a beautiful, cool, quirky fact I found out about fennel. The word marathon may trace back to fennel. The Greek word marathon refers to a field of fennel, which is so cool. In Greek mythology, it is said to have carried fire from the gods in a hollow fennel stalk. Roman soldiers believed fennel improved eyesight. In fact, I know people who've made an eye wash out of fennel tea. So that might be something to look into. Do a little bit of research, because I think we get a lot of eye strain from our computers, all of our time. This is something I've experienced even the last few years. I typically have to, if I spend a lot of time on my computer or even reading now, I need to use reading glasses. And I am working on reversing that. So with my research that I did for fennel, I found that it makes a beautiful eye wash. Not only that, it's full of vitamin A. So when you consume fennel tea, you're getting vitamin A, which is really good for your eyes. So look into making a fennel eye wash, which basically you can get a little eye wash. It's a little glass cup. You steep your fennel tea, you strain it, you let it come down to room temperature. You definitely don't want to put hot tea on your eye. Common sense is required here. And then you basically put it on your eye and you let it wash around in your eye. You can also make eye drops where you just put the tea in a little glass jar, a bottle with a dropper, drop a few drops in your eye, and then keep it in the fridge, because the coolness, I've actually done that before and it's been a while, but I think I'm going to bring this back because I honestly forgot about it. And it's interesting because there's so many plants, so many herbs, they have so many powerful benefits. It can be a little bit overwhelming. Like I can't be taking 100 things every day. To me, fennel needs to be somewhere near the top, maybe the top 10 or 20 things that you have on hand and that you regularly consume in your diet, especially in the form of tea. Fennel seeds were often served after meals in Indian restaurants as a sweet digestive. This might be common if you love Indian food, which I personally do, and they will serve you a little thing of fennel seeds, and that's what you chew on. And it helps digest what you just ate, okay? It can grow up to 8 feet tall under the right conditions. Now, many people and places where this is grown, especially, if you want to grow this in your yard, what I have heard that is that fennel doesn't play well with others. And what I mean by that is likes to kind of grow by itself. It doesn't like to grow around other plants. And in some cases, it can appear to be invasive. So it can kind of take over. And I've never experienced that. I don't know really quite how that works, probably because the seeds drop off and voila, you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of fennel seeds just popping up everywhere. So might be something to consider. It's a host plant for swallowtail butterfly caterpillars. So if you want to attract that type of beautiful caterpillar and butterfly, so beautiful pollinator, this fennel is a great thing to put in your yard. Then this last part is how I'm going to end this. So while fennel is generally considered safe as a food, the concentrated essential oil should be used carefully. People with hormone-sensitive conditions should definitely consult a functional medicine doctor or a professional before consuming fennel. And it's not recommended in large medicinal doses during pregnancy without guidance. So even in a tea, it can cause mild contractions because it's got all those benefits for what it does for everything in your digestion. And this is something I remember hearing about many, many years ago. My boys are in their 40s. So I remember hearing about this and about that when I was pregnant with them in my early 20s. So this is something that you should pay attention to. And I think with anything you're adding into your diet when you're pregnant should always be carefully considered. That just, of course, is common sense. And because we are coming full circle with medicinal herbs and Mother Nature's medicines coming right back at us and everyone's researching, it's still good to use common sense, use your discernment, and look at where you are in your life. What's going on? A pregnant woman, you're growing a beautiful human life. And you should always just use your best common sense. So I would love to know what you think about fennel. Do you love it as much as I do? This is going to be back into the forefront of my kitchen, my cooking, chewing on the seeds, making fennel tea, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with it this summer. So thank you for tuning in today, guys, and we will see you next time.